All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going deep, deep inside your own cells to look at one of biology's most incredible little machines. It's a tiny protein channel that is, and I'm not exaggerating, the reason you're alive right now. We're talking about aquaporins, the body's ultimate plumbing system.
Okay, so to get why this is so important, we have to start with a basic problem every cell has. See, each cell is wrapped in this fatty membrane. It's like its own little border control, deciding what gets in and what stays out. But this creates a huge challenge. How does water, the most important molecule for life, get through that border when and where it's needed?
I mean, just think about the scale of that for a second. We're not talking about one cell. We're talking about something like 37 times trillion cells that all need a constant, perfectly balanced supply of water to do their jobs. How on earth does your body manage a logistics problem that massive every single moment of the day?
Well, to figure out the answer, you gotta know the two basic rules of the road for getting across that cell border. First, you've got passive transport. That's the easy route. Things just flow naturally from a crowded area to a less crowded one. Kind of like rolling downhill, no energy needed. Then, you've got active transport. That's the hard way. It's about pushing molecules uphill from a low concentration to a high one. And to do that, the cell has to spend energy in the form of ATP.
Now, you might be thinking, water's a tiny molecule. Can it just sneak through? And yeah, it can. A little bit of water can slowly leak through the membrane using simple passive diffusion. But, and this is a big but, in places that need water to move fast, like your kidneys filtering your entire blood supply, that slow leak is just way, way too slow. The body needed an express lane.
And this is where biology gets really clever. It didn't just settle for the slow leak. It built a dedicated, high-speed VIP lane just for water molecules. And the hero of our story, the aquaporin, is that VIP lane. So what exactly is an aquaporin? Well, it's a special protein that basically punches a perfectly shaped hole, or a pore, right through the cell membrane. And here's the key part. It's a form of facilitated passive diffusion. That just means it helps water do what it naturally wants to do, go downhill, but it makes the process ridiculously fast. No energy required, just pure, incredible speed.
You know, the scientist who discovered it, Dr. Peter Agre, came up with the perfect description. He called them, simply, the plumbing system for cells. And really, there's no better way to think about it. It's just perfect.
And the efficiency of this plumbing, I mean, the numbers are just insane. A single one of these aquaporin channels can move up to 1 billion water molecules every single second. 1 billion? It's like a perfectly organized fire hose shooting water through this microscopic gate in a single file line.
You know, this wasn't some overnight discovery. Scientists had a hunch these special water channels existed way back in the 50s. But the big break came, as it often does in science, completely by accident. In 1992, Dr. Peter Agre was studying blood types, and he kept finding this one pesky protein he couldn't identify. He almost threw it out, but then realized this was it. This was the water channel everyone had been looking for. The discovery was so huge, so fundamental to understanding how our bodies work, that it won him the Nobel Prize in 2003.
Okay, so discovering it was massive, but the real magic, the reason it's so special, is in its flawless, Nobel-winning design. So how in the world does this tiny molecular machine work so perfectly? Well, at its heart, an aquaporin is built from 6 protein strands that snake back and forth through the cell membrane. And when they come together, they create this really specific shape, a lot like an hourglass. It's wide at the top and bottom, but it has this super narrow choke point right in the middle. Oh, and they also like to hang out in little gangs of 4, forming these dense patches of water gates all over the cell.
So, let's follow one single water molecule on its lightning-fast trip. It zips into the wide opening of the hourglass. Then, it's forced to get in a single-file line to squeeze through that narrow middle part. Halfway through, it actually does this little flip, and then boom, it's out the other side. The whole journey takes just a fraction of a nanosecond. It's unbelievably quick.
But here is the most incredible part. How it lets only water through. It's got 2 secret weapons. First is the selectivity filter. That's the hourglass's narrowest point, and it's so tiny that only a single water molecule can fit. It's like the ultimate bouncer at the door. If you're not water, you're not getting in. Second, another part of the channel creates this special electric field that repels anything with a positive charge. This is absolutely crucial because it stops protons from sneaking through with the water, which protects the cell's delicate energy balance. So we have this perfect high-speed exclusive water filter. It's amazing. But what happens when the plumbing breaks? What happens when it gets clogged? This is where this tiny, microscopic story has massive, real-world consequences for our health. So to get the consequences, you need to understand this one idea: hypertonicity. It sounds complicated, but it's simple. It's just what happens when the fluid outside a cell gets saltier or more concentrated than the fluid inside. Nature always tries to balance things out, so water will rush out of the cell to try and dilute the outside. When that happens, the cell shrivels up like a raisin. And that is very, very bad. And this isn't just a theory. The links between broken aquaporins and human disease are crystal clear. Check this out. If you have a mutation in the gene for aquaporin 0, it can lead to cataracts from birth. A problem with aquaporin 4 is linked to a severe autoimmune disorder. And if your aquaporin 2 is faulty, you can get a rare and serious form of diabetes.
Let's just take that kidney example with AQP2. Those channels are supposed to pull water back into your body from what will become urine. They're your body's water recycling system. If they don't work, your body can't hold on to water. It just flows right through you, leading to extreme thirst and producing huge, dangerous amounts of urine. It just goes to show how critical one tiny protein can be.
Okay, so let's zoom back out and look at the big picture. We've seen the problem of getting a drink, biology's brilliant solution, the incredible design, and what happens when it all goes wrong. So what's the final takeaway on life's ultimate plumbing system?
Well, the most amazing thing is that aquaporins are absolutely everywhere. They're universal. And as humans, they're critical for our kidneys, our brains, our eyes, our saliva, you name it. But it's not just us. Plants depend on them to pull water out of the soil and survive droughts. In fact, you can find aquaporins in pretty much every kingdom of life on Earth. Bacteria, fungi, everything. They are a fundamental piece of the puzzle of life itself.
It really is a true masterpiece of biological engineering. A simple, incredibly elegant, and mind-bogglingly fast solution to one of life's most basic problems: getting water exactly where it needs to go, at the exact moment it's needed, billions and billions of times a second.
And that kind of leaves you with one final big question. The aquaporin was a complete mystery for decades, just hiding there in plain sight. It really makes you wonder, what other incredible life-saving solutions are still in there, working away inside every one of our cells, just waiting to be discovered?